Hello, I'm Olivia. My journey has been quite a roller coaster, from facing tough times and nearly losing my life during surgery to delving into some extraordinary experiences. Come along as I share some eye-opening stories, from unexpectedly finding a piece of myself during a 13,000-mile road trip to encountering spirits in a spooky San Francisco home. Discover how I managed to break free from repeating patterns and embraced forgiveness and self-kindness. Hit the subscribe button for more incredible tales, and let's chat about life's cosmic connections. Greetings, everyone. Life has thrown me some serious challenges since I was young. By the time I was 22, I'd been through a lot, dealing with various types of trauma. To cope, I turned to alcohol and drugs to numb the overwhelming emotions. Flashback to 92, I was living with my then-boyfriend in Boston. Suddenly, I get the surprising news: I'm pregnant. Without insurance, I head to SF General Hospital. Turns out, I'm carrying twins, only 9 weeks in. Doctors attempt to induce a miscarriage, but it fails. Surgery becomes the only option. While under anesthesia, the doctor advises me to stop harming myself. Struggling with anemia and pregnancy complications, I feel myself drifting away during the abortion procedure. From above, I watch the medical team working frantically, but I feel detached. I nearly lose consciousness due to excessive bleeding. Then a beautiful presence appears, offering me a choice to stay in peace or return and make a difference. Despite the temptation to stay, I opt to go back. Re-entering my body feels heavy, like sinking into concrete. 3 days pass in the hospital, with no sign of my boyfriend, adding to my pain. Later, I discover he cheated on me. Fueled by anger and the advice from the ethereal being, I leave within a week. I head to California to pursue my dream of becoming a comic book artist. Over the next 30 years in San Francisco, I create comics, but I also begin to experience strange phenomena, seeing ghosts, feeling energies, and encountering bizarre time loops. Despite these experiences, I maintain some old habits, like using weed, until 5 years ago when I decide to clean up my act. Life takes a nosedive after 2012 when I find myself trapped in an abusive relationship. Eventually, I reach a breaking point, embracing hopelessness and accepting myself. I leave, buy a box truck, and embark on a 13,000-mile journey across America. Along the way, I confront and address my past traumas, learning to love myself. During my journey, I come across a stray dog, Sadie. Feeling an unusual but profound love for her changes my outlook on relationships. If someone doesn't make me feel the way Sadie does, I keep my distance and establish healthy boundaries. This lesson proves invaluable as I navigate various situations. Growing up in a challenging environment often leads to a disconnect from one's body. However, it also makes practices like meditation easier, allowing for a more detached perspective. During the pandemic, I enroll in online classes at Shaman School, delving into past life regression and soul retrieval. As I traverse America, I realize I've unconsciously revisited every place I lived as a child, reclaiming the pieces of myself I left behind. This journey empowers me to take control of my life. Instead of feeling like a victim, I learn to protect myself with trust, love, and self-compassion. Soul retrieval alters my perception of my parents, understanding they faced traumas they couldn't confront. When I saw answers and got clean, they disowned me, oddly freeing me. I change my name and disappear in my truck, leaving them unaware of my whereabouts. Though challenging, cutting ties brings a sense of liberation. Learning to cope without substances and embracing self-discovery become my focus. Much of my journey revolves around the psychic and mystical realm, with my main guide leading the way. Discovering past life traumas, such as being accused of witchcraft or betrayed for aiding others, reveals a recurring pattern. It leads me to ponder whether those of us who confront darkness early in life might be the shamans of our generation. As I journeyed across the country, unintentionally delving into soul retrieval, I found myself performing a ritual by the Mohawk River in upstate New York. It was a spot where I used to play as a child, feeling a comforting presence beyond the veil. 30 years later, during this ritual, I had a profound realization. The presence I felt was actually my future self, serving as a guide to offer reassurance. I sent energy back into my past, closing a karmic loop not just for myself but for past generations of women who endured abuse. Practices like Reiki emphasize the importance of closing these karmic cycles and breaking free from detrimental patterns. This liberation equips me to navigate challenging situations more effectively and assist others in confronting spectral entities. In my final haunted abode in San Francisco, an 1853 house, I encountered numerous trapped spirits grappling with the themes of death and betrayal. These encounters deeply influenced my perspectives on time, healing, and the imperative of breaking free from recurring patterns. During my 15-year tenure in that residence, there was a peculiar phenomenon. An individual always dressed in attire reminiscent of the 1920s. Strangely, every roommate who moved in would experience a profound sense of gloom and depression, only to feel better upon leaving. It turned out that the energy of this 1920s gentleman was the source of this heaviness. Determined to alleviate the atmosphere, I orchestrated an elaborate ritual to dispel the negative vibes from the premises. While most spirits readily departed aboard a symbolic boat, our 1920s acquaintance remained stubbornly rooted. Despite repeated attempts, he persistently paced the hallway, visible to others at gatherings in my home. Growing increasingly frustrated with his refusal to depart, I delved into research, sifting